hello, guten tag, guten nacht, whatever the hell time it is where you're listening, watching, whatever. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us for This Week I'm Learning. I am your host, Brandon. Today is episode 17, 1st of October. Welcome to SPOOKtober. We should have an interesting show. I'm going to be doing a lot of improv because I didn't research my topic all that much because they're both pretty easy topics that I've kind of already been interested in. We'll see how off the rails this gets, how quick it gets off the rails. So, already off the rails. I am Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. Below me, I am thinking Colton Roper.
Not quite.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You had one job, man. One job. Look at the video
Colton's
next
got
time.
it. Colton's got it.
I finally remembered.
Cody is below me,
That's right.
which means...
Dracanis.
So, Cody Stradman, also known as Psychonitrous, down to his
Yeah.
viewer
that way.
right?
Viewer right
Yeah,
is left.
whatever that way.
Diagonal, yeah.
Yep. To
Yes.
that direction is Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761.
What is up, y'all? Good? Nothing? Sounds like it?
Sure. It's
We're
it's
suddenly
a day.
back into 2001. Got it.
What up, homies?
What's up?
Oh, God.
And to my that direction is Mjolnir, also known sometimes as Charlie Stifler.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So today Cody is going to learn us well how not to review a hotel.
It's gonna be a good time. You may
Epic.
or may not go to
A
jail.
real good time. Cause I got a feeling.
Wait.
Don't get us demonetized, dude.
Yeah, good point. Wait, we're not already monetized. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
you know,
We're on the positive growth. It's fine.
And Dracanis is No, not Dracanis. I'm just assigning topics to random people, you know?
You're going to talk about
it's
this today.
topic rearrange day. No,
Oh God, no!
Colton
Please, no!
is gonna tell us where sounds go to die.
I figured it worked for SPOOKtober. Dying sounds and
Okay.
everything. So, I'm not going to lie. I
I guess we are.
I did not mean to do that, but I'm going to say I did anyways, because I am an excellent podcaster.
So is that the sound of
I mean-
silence?
Who knows? I guess we're just going to
I'm
have
not
have to
breaking
wait.
into a song on that one. I'm trying really hard. Really hard.
In the spirit of October, Charlie's going to tell us about a few ghostly topics.
I hope to entertain. Brandon will be telling us all about the death of dirt bikes and the doubling of arms. Is that where you like have a fat roll in your arm? Is that where it doubles?
I wonder
It's-
what the arm is about.
Is this like the
Oh,
forest?
yeah.
maybe?
Could be anything.
Armsy.
Definitely has nothing to do with processors.
No, never.
We
No.
have never done that before.
We're not a
Never.
tech focused.
We're not
Podcast.
predictable in any way, shape, or
We're-
form. It's
We
fine.
have very varied interests, guys. So could be anything.
Yeah, could
But my money's on processor.
Could be.
It could be airplanes.
So we have 3 death Spooktober style articles.
I'm
Yeah, we do.
sorry.
Possibly
I
a 4th,
screwed up.
depending on the how not to review a hotel. Maybe it caused the death of a hotel, or it was about someone's death in a hotel.
Or the reviewer died. While
Or
trying
the
to
death
review
of the
the hotel.
Or the death of the hotel
He had an
industry.
unfortunate accident.
Cody, tell us about the death in the hotel. Or whatever the heck your topic is.
So this has hit international news because I wasn't going to talk about it until I just kind of, I had to go into work today, and as soon as I'm working from home like off and on, and as I got there, like people are like, "Oh, did you hear about this? How there's a reviewer and that reviewed a hotel in Thailand, and now he's gonna be imprisoned." And I'm like, "All right, well, let's talk about this then." So, yeah,
So he might die. He might actually die.
I was gonna say,
Wow.
it's related.
but I mean, people die all the time from other things too, so who knows? Uh,
Other things.
yeah, death kills lots of people.
People die when they're killed, by the way, guys.
Death is the leading cause of death.
Are you trying to get me to knock myself out with the face palm tonight? Because you're close.
Sorry, Cody. Go ahead.
Anyway, so if you guys haven't heard of it, there was I'll say gentleman, but I'm going to explain why that's not true later. Reviewed a hotel, put it up on TripAdvisor, and then let's say it was a pretty scathing review, and then now is serving some jail time because of it. Now, the reason for this, I guess, first of all, we'll go into why he felt he had a bad time. His review states that he got to the hotel, he said that people were sour there, they weren't smiling. This big thing in Thailand, they call it the land of smiles because people smile a lot. It is actually pretty true. But anyways,
Can confirm.
Yeah, so he goes to the hotel, he pays 6,000 baht a night, which is actually quite a bit for a hotel in Thailand. Like that's so it's about $200 per night, so that's a pretty luxe hotel there. Or, your average Motel 6 in New York. Who knows? I've looked at pictures of this. It's a nice place. Anyway, so he spends a few nights there. He goes out on the beach, drinks on the beach, no problem. And then he says that he has dinner, and at the dinner, he brings his bottle of liquor to dinner with him. They inform him that it's going to be 500 baht, so $15 for a uncorking fee, which basically means if you want to have your own bottle at the table, that's the cost. From his perspective, I'm going to try and tell this side from his perspective. He gets a little bit upset about that, and the manager comes over after he says people had a very sour reaction to that, and finally allows him to do it without paying the fee. So he gets the fee reduced. And then he said pretty much for the entire trip there that people were very negative towards him, had a bad attitude, and he said also that I'm trying to remember the race. It was a Eastern European bloc country. The manager there treated the Thai staff like slaves. So he writes that on TripAdvisor. Then he writes another review as scathing on TripAdvisor under a slightly different name. And I'm not trying to dox people, so I'm not going to say the name of the hotel, say the name of the person. If you want to, that information will be easily Googleable.
Or in the links below.
Yeah, actually, it will probably be that simple. So, what happened? Now, I'll tell this from the hotel's side. So, first of all, you kind of have to know the situation in Thailand right now. Thailand has handled COVID very well. And that, in a way, is kind of a problem. Because they've handled it so well, they are not allowing pretty much anybody into the country unless you are in a certain criteria, meet certain criteria. And basically that means your average person is not going there, which means they're not making up new money. And up to, I've heard debates between 10 to 20% of their economy is tourism base, which is huge. As a matter of fact, this year they're looking at a 12% decrease to GDP because of this. That is
not nothing.
Insane.
Yeah.
So the attitude, there's just so many places that are closed there, and the attitudes aren't, I wouldn't say desperation, but it's pretty dire as far as being in the tourism industry right now. So you have to think about that when you're talking about the hotel and attitude at the hotel. So the hotel describes him as kind of being a little bit obnoxious, and then basically the straw that broke the camel's back for them was him calling out the race of the manager there. So that the manager who was, again, I forget the country, but it was Eastern European country. He's not the owner of the hotel. He's just the manager of the hotel at the time. So they call that out, or he called that out, that he was being, extremely racist and rude in his comment. And also he apparently got very obnoxious when he was presented with the uncorking fee, which, again, $15. That's not really a substantial amount of money when you're paying 2,000 baht per night. Or
is that like is that typical in Thailand on the higher end restaurants or hotel restaurants, or I have no idea.
It's one of those things where it's kind of a looked down upon for you to bring your own liquor to a meal, to something like that. That's not high class. So, well, especially at a fancier place, I would see that they would have something like that. Like if you had if you had your own fancy bottle of like scotch or something, and you wanted to talk to them,
that you bring with you.
You never know.
From Alaska. Yeah.
So I have a Canadian friend that lives in Thailand that I've got to bring a bottle of whiskey to next time I go there, because apparently they don't know Canadian whiskey that much. It's a tangent that I could go off of here, but there's a backstory to this. We were at a Sky Bar one time, and he was very upset because there were certain whiskeys that were not Canadian listed under the Canadian whiskey section.
Is he in prison now?
No. You know him. You've met him.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, I've talked to him recently.
That's hilarious.
But anyway, back to the story at hand. So really, we've got this guy, and then he writes another review that actually got taken down by TripAdvisor because it was so contentious. Now, in Thailand, there's a defamation law so in the US, it really would go to more of a civil suit, but in Thailand, it can be a criminal suit. The hotel attempted to contact this gentleman several times, and then upon not being able to reach him to, discuss the review, because this is the livelihood of this hotel, especially during these times, they felt it necessary to charge him under this criminal suit. They even acknowledge in one of the messages that they don't necessarily agree they don't agree with how extreme this law can be as far as going up to jail time, but at the same time they kind of need to get their name cleared. So I can really understand it from their perspective. The thing is I also looked into this guy a little bit more, just to see, because I am familiar with certain groups of foreigners in Thailand and the way that they act. Some people can just be jackasses. Some people are incredibly nice. But generally, if there's a local, unless it's a jet ski scam, if there's a local arguing with a foreigner from the stuff that I've seen, I'm going to take the local side on these a little bit more. So I did a little bit more research, and what I found out about the guy is that back in 2017, he was in a bar in Kansas and impersonated a federal officer, then shot his pistol several times. I think it was outside of the bar, and then went to another bar, did the same thing.
A real winner, it sounds like.
Yeah. Now,
another one for Team America.
I don't think people's past should necessarily always crucify them, because people are capable of change. That's the beauty of life. Like, you can learn from your previous mistakes. You can change as a person. But under this circumstance, it does not appear that this guy's mentality has changed. So, yeah, it's terrible that he's serving jail time for writing a review. But as far as like his personality and what he's done, I don't necessarily disagree with what's going on here. He did make bail, so who knows what will happen in the legal system. They do actually have a functioning legal system, so we'll see. You know,
I look
out of
forward
curiosity.
Oh, go ahead.
Is Thailand a guilty until proven innocent or innocent until proven guilty system?
That's a good question. I need to ask. So there's one of the guys on the Bangkok podcast. I need to actually ask about this because he's a lawyer and see what his take on it is.
So I look forward to reading his TripAdvisor review of the jail, by the way.
They were so rude.
Because I think
10 out of 10 would go again.
Yeah, like I think it might give him some perspective on the hotel, frankly.
He's paying a lot less, though. You know, well, I guess
the wine here
if
sucks.
There's a fine too.
Maybe,
couldn't bring my own liquor, and they still made me pay for it anyways.
But according to Cody, I'm sure they've got great Wi-Fi.
You know, probably
can confirm again. Yeah, it's probably true.
But interesting things happening in the world.
So,
I did also look at the, the hotel and previous reviews on the hotel. The most negative reviews on the hotel, other than that, there are a few other ones, which, as far as I know, they didn't prosecute people for writing negative reviews for, like, there's construction nearby. There was one or two reviews that were like, people are sour, but like out of several thousand reviews, there were only 30 really negative ones. Matter of fact, it won like a TripAdvisor award for 2020 for best hotel in the area. So,
wow.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably a really nice hotel to go to.
So
better.
This guy went during pandemic, right?
Yeah, but you also have to because they've handled it so well in Thailand, there's a lot of things that are more open than typical U.S. cities. So,
I know, I understand, but what I'm saying is, like,
but he was a foreigner, though.
He was a foreigner.
He's a foreigner.
And, like, why would he not write this scathing review and leave?
Because he teaches in Thailand, so he lives
he's a
in
resident.
Thailand. Yeah, he's an expat.
Got it.
Fucking asshole.
Yep.
I'm just saying, fucking asshole.
True.
I don't care.
You're not wrong. I mean,
you know what? Fuck you. Screw that guy.
Yep. Oh, you're telling
Like
me to fuck myself.
no. You do whatever you want with yourself, Mjolnir. You're fine, Charlie. It's okay. No, it's
go play with some of your toys in the background.
Well, it's just any of us four in that same situation would just be amazed that we're in a freaking swanky hotel in a foreign country. Like the fact that it's $200. What was it? Roughly $200 a night, which for Thailand is, for at least Bangkok, from what I saw, is really
Bangkok.
high end.
Yeah, this is
Thailand.
Ho Chang. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But again, that is a high end place there. I mean, considering what we found were significantly cheaper and still high quality places. So it's just frustrating to hear of an expat or foreigner, well, an expat, that of all things to complain about, whatever. It's stupid. It's all dumb. Screw people.
All of it. People are dumb.
Well, Colton, why don't you bring us out to a happier note and tell us where sound dies?
A happier note that you can't hear?
Well, you know what? What's my topic could be related. If you dislike people, this might be the thing for you. So, do you guys enjoy your quiet time? Like,
yes.
Do you have an area or room in your life where you can just check out, turn off your electronics, and just relax with your thoughts, and hopefully they're relatively positive thoughts?
I had you until the turn off your electronics part, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Noise canceling headphones.
That is
I think it depends.
that is the wrong. That was the wrong thing to ask this particular cast here. I just realized.
Yeah.
But mistakes were made.
Everybody needs a little sanctuary, I would say. So what if I told you that your quiet place may as well be a rocket exploding compared to what the Guinness Book of World Records has called the quietest room in the world?
Oh.
Ooh.
This sounds awesome.
I know of this room.
I mean, it doesn't sound
It is not just quiet. It is disquietingly quiet.
It is. This area is so quiet, people go in like crazy. And some people do. They can't handle being alone with their thoughts. So.
Couldn't do it. I go fucking bonkers. Like, the tinnitus from all of those years of sirens and concerts and all that stuff, the ringing in my ears would be deafening.
Oh, it would be maddening. So, you would think that the world's quietest room would be owned by an audio company such as Sennheiser, Bose, or Philips. But it is not. It is actually Microsoft. Incorrect. It was Microsoft,
what?
Right? Microsoft actually owns the record and the room located at their Redmond, Washington campus.
Why?
Why not? They're a $1 trillion company now. Why not? Why not own something stupid like that?
I wonder if this has to do with like vibrations rather than it being like the sound is a byproduct of why it has to be quiet, or why.
You might find out later. Why though? They spent 1.5 million American simoleons on a 21 foot by 21 foot by 21 foot anechoic chamber. I'm probably saying that wrong, but basically it means it is a room that is designed to be free from echoes, reverberations, dead silent. And when I say dead silent, as in like nothing at all. This room was completed in 2015, and they measured the ambient noise in Microsoft's chamber at negative 20.3 decibels. Negative.
I didn't know you could go negative. Huh.
So, and this is kind
sound out of your ear.
Well, this is kind of a misconception on the decibel scale. It's actually based on what the human ear can actually comprehend. So 0 decibels is actually the lowest average sound a human being can perceive.
So it's not like signal strength. Okay.
Yeah, it's still creating a sound. Just they use electronics to actually get this particular sound. Yeah. Little perspective: a typical rock concert is around 110 decibels, depending on who you're listening to. A normal conversation pre-mask use is around 60 decibels. It's probably more like 70 or 80 since you have to yell through the mask with the current climate. But Calm breathing is about 10 decibels, so it's getting pretty quiet. And as I said, the average human is at 0. What Microsoft has actually achieved with this is actually pretty close to what is even physically possible. So, a little perspective again. After all, the sound of air molecules colliding is measured at negative 23 decibels.
Is it a vacuum? Did they make a vacuum? Because
No.
that's cheating.
Technically, people can go in here. It is not a vacuum, because
How long can they
any farther than measuring a sound at freaking of air molecules colliding, you're in a vacuum at that point, because that's how sound travels, is by the collision of the air molecules. So that's pretty impressive acoustic work, if you ask me. However, us regular non-Microsoft plebeians cannot visit this particular chamber.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's internal use only, and I'll get to what they use it for in a little bit. But there is one anechoic chamber that is open to the public at, I think it's called the Orfield Labs in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yep.
It's become a small tourist attraction, and thousands of people have spent time actually inside this room. People have reported hearing their heartbeat, feeling their bones, like if they have bad cartilage, feeling their bones grind against each other and actually hearing it. Hearing the blood rushing in their ears, scratching, and like one person said, scratching their skin was like deafening. It was so loud to them because of how quiet it actually is in there. We also said, like, when you try to talk in this particular room, and again, this is like a negative 9 decibel ambient noise. So
Okay.
I mean,
That's
again,
fast.
it's not the Microsoft one, but it's still quiet. It's still basically the same, at least according to human beings. People said when they tried to talk, like it sounds like it doesn't even get out of their head. It just stays there, because these particular chambers, there's no echo, and that's actually a lot of where the volume and the actual fullness of sound comes from, is from echoing off of objects. So most people, when they go in there, only last a few minutes to 10 minutes or so, due to the fact that the sensory deprivation actually causes hallucinations and actually disorients you, because we actually use sound, and this key of this is also having the lights off at the same time. We use these sound and visual inputs to actually balance ourselves, even though we don't really perceive it. The sound, our brain still uses it to kind of figure out where we are. So generally, after 30 minutes, people will 100% of the time fall down. They lose where their place is in this room. So you're required to have a chair when you're in there. So kind of interesting. The record for this particular place, unofficially, is about 55 minutes of a person actually being in there. And it sounds like it's not a lot, but again, you're alone. You're technically on the quietest place on Earth.
Can you bring a book or a reader or something?
Kindle.
I suppose. Well, you'd
could
hear the
imagine-
Kindle. You would hear.
I bet you could hear
You would hear the freaking buzz of the screen. You would hear the capacitors. You would touching it and feeling it. You'd hear your
would be
skin scrape
awesome.
against it. Oh, it's super
that
cool.
would be really cool.
I wanna
It's
go
super
there.
fucking cool.
Ugh.
And again, they don't really encourage any sort of record breaking, because there are actually negative health effects because of the disorienting and the fact that people go slightly insane. I mean, because they're alone with themselves. So, to answer the question, why build these damn chambers at all? It's not just a feat of science. There's actual real economic use of this. Certainly more than just human torture. Many companies bring their products into anechoic chambers to test the true noise that they actually create. Like mechanical heart valves, sleep apnea machines, computers, hard drives, like anything that, if there's a persistent hum or anything like that, would eventually drive people crazy. And obviously, if you're building something into yourself or need something to sleep, you want it as quiet as physically possible. Actually, Microsoft specifically built theirs mostly for actually their Surface lineup. It's actually, they credit that a lot with how awesome it sounds when like you close the Duo, like the actual satisfying. Like they analyze the shit out of the sounds of these devices. Same with the actual any computers that they build. They test and see if there's any weird hum, any whine, anything like that. So it's actually pretty cool as to why they actually do it.
You know who you can tell doesn't use that?
Who?
NVIDIA.
Oh yeah, with their high whine and totally.
Their 3000 series high whine drive you absolutely bonkers.
Well, remember they're only a $300 billion company, so they can't afford a quiet room built of like a foot. I think it's like a foot of concrete all around the box. It's built actually on top of anti-vibration springs. So even like it's fucking insane. The entire walls are covered in like 2-foot wedges of fiberglass, I think they said, and they're designed through whatever physics that actually eliminates any sound in terms of echoing. So really fucking cool, the whole thing. So in the end, if you want a room to get away from in this loud, apparently super loud world, anechoic chambers might be a way to help with that, just not for too terribly long. So kind of fascinating. Science.
All right. I am going to say this now. Mentally, I have this little tear-off calendar of it's been this many episodes since we mentioned the Surface Duo, and you guys keep on resetting it every episode.
It's a cool product. I actually held it for the first time. I'm not going to get
so
into
cool.
it. It's a cool product.
No. What did you think holding it?
I think I would like it for what I would use it for. And actually feeling it, it feels super premium. And again, the sound, it's just very solid. I just held it in Best Buy, so it's not an official feeling, but initial impressions were very positive. So I liked it.
Yeah. Interestingly,
there's a little piece of me that misses mine.
Enough about the Surface Duo. Today, my mom was talking about just getting rid of her laptop and having a phone and a desktop. And she was saying that she wanted a phone where she could do more than just calls and do actual note-taking and stuff. So I was like, well, maybe the Surface Duo. So she's going to be looking forward to your second or your Surface Duo 2 review.
You need to finish that. And of course...
the second one. So next year.
True.
Oh. Yeah.
But you still need to finish your first review.
Yeah. You can't start on
I'm halfway through editing. It is... I'm trying to add transitions and pictures and other video sources. Do it, Cody. Do it.
Whoa!
Do it for the podcast.
He's halfway there. Whoa!
And this has been our final episode. Thank you all for dealing with this. But before we end, I think Charlie should enlighten us on spooky happenings in the month of Spooktober and the coming Bone Wars, or whatever the hell we're talking about here.
Well, we are entering level 10 of Jumanji, so anything's possible. The dead could rise this month. And there's, quite a few more of those people now, so who knows? No, so it's not really consistent with the theme of the podcast. Because it's not something I learned this week. It's not something I researched this week. I'm going to kind of share one of my other passions and a couple of my experiences with it. Talk about some of and I'll be frank about this, and I'll get flack from some of my friends on this, but the science of paranormal investigation. And it should be fun. And, tipping my hat a little bit to the rest of the month, I'm going to be telling some other investigation stories for the rest of the month. So I love October. It's my favorite month, and ghost hunting is one of my favorite things that I get to do. So I have
Pumpkin Spice Month.
Han Solo
month.
Yeah. Wait,
not pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice lattes suck. And it's not even really pumpkin spice. It's another thing that they can harvest year round that's not pumpkins that tastes like pumpkins. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
What's the Han Solo? Okay, I need the
Han Solo month. So ye old basic bitches wear these 3/4 calf leather boots, yoga pants, white knit sweaters with vests, and they make themselves look like Han Solo from the back.
To be fair, not purposely, Cody.
I will link to the
unintentional.
picture, and you can show it on the screen right now.
Okay.
It is a thing. Okay. Anyways, meme of the
As
episode.
John would say, it's boot month.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, so I've been a ghost investigator, a paranormal investigator, since 2012-ish, 2011, sometime around there. One of my coworkers at the time from the ambulance agency that I worked for was the leader of a paranormal investigation team, and I kind of caught wind of it, and I had some AV background. My parents were both professional photographers. My grandparents owned a photography repair store for close to 60 years. I was very adept with cameras and SLR equipment, and so I thought that a good fair amount of paranormal investigation is documenting the evidence with AV equipment. So, kind of put my foot forward with that. And you know what the very first screening question he asked me was? Anybody?
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
No.
Damn it.
I don't know.
Can you operate XP?
He held up a picture filled with orbs and asked me what they were. And my answer was what?
Spirits?
Lens flares.
Dust. Dust, moisture, bugs. Orbs are not a thing. And there is this entire division in the paranormal investigation world. And it seems like we are the minority, unfortunately, that realize that when you have a 90-degree angle to the observer, light refracts. And it doesn't matter whether it's a microbe of dust or whether it's a bug or whether it's moisture in the air, you're going to get refractions. So, orbs are not a thing. So that's my first ding. You've got knowledge now. Orbs, not real. Second thing,
Or they
found
are
out
real.
that they are not real.
I mean,
The term orbs regarding to paranormal origin are not real. The second thing is that EMF, electromagnetic field, measured with little portable meters, is ghost activity. In actuality, it's probably not. Now, there's two entirely big spectrums of possibilities here. The first spectrum is that if Newton's laws of energy are to be observed, that a ghost cannot manifest from nothing. They need an energy source. So if you have an environment full of EMF, then that's a lot of free energy for them to sap and convert into whatever they are, right? The other side of this is high EMF fields cause hallucinations and a couple other things like leukemia. No big deal. So OSHA actually regulates how much EMF you're allowed to be around in a given period of time. So anything over 100 within a foot of you for a period of a couple hours is a no-go. And I think, and this is government regulation, so it changes all the time, but I think either 70 or 80, you're not allowed to be in that for more than 8 hours. So
quick question.
Don't climb a tower and...
Why is that? Like, why does the EMF electromagnetic field actually cause hallucinations?
So it's interacting with your brain chemistry. So if you think about how an MRI works, this is actually very tangential, but the way an MRI works to take an image of your body is it uses this gigantic magnet to bring all of the electrons orbiting your hydrogen molecules into alignment. And different molecules, i.e. different substances like bone, calcium, magnesium, fluid, whatever, have different polarities. So they refract and align differently. That's how you can tell different substances in MRI. So magnets affect our bodies very well. And when you're in a EMF field, 100, that's just enough to screw with your brain chemistry. It's not enough to like make you a vegetable, but it could cause cancer because high EMF could be ionizing radiation. So that's what causes cancer, is anything that ionizes your cells and strips DNA. When that DNA replicates, whatever's missing is missing, and maybe that's the I should kill myself gene or the I should stop replicating gene. Cancer, those cells don't kill themselves, and they don't have the brakes to stop themselves from replicating. That's why cancer growth happens. Anyways, so getting back on ghosts for a minute. High EMF. So I'll stop there with the new equipment. I'll save some more stuff for other episodes. This takes us to an investigation I did February of 2013 or 2014. It was a snowy night. We had gotten a help case referral through our website to investigate a private residence. And most of the time our investigations are public places, businesses, important places in history. It's pretty rare that we get help cases from residences. And, we go through the standard, do you have any mental health issues? Do you take any medications? Any psychiatric issues? Do you have a crisis of faith going on? Is there anything making you question, your interpretation of if there's a God or who that is and what your faith looks like? All those things can cause something to be nothing and nothing to be something. This screening happens all pretty routinely, and we decide that we're gonna investigate the house. Real quick, we don't do exorcisms. We know teams that do. We have teams that we're related to that have priests on them. Normally, when someone has a crisis of faith or something that is malevolent that they're trying to get rid of, we'll refer them to one of those teams. We're mostly academic, just trying to find evidence and prove things. Prove that this stuff is real. Find tangential evidence. Something that we can hold, look, feel, to prove that what happens to us when we die is a known thing. Okay? So we get into this house, and I actually get there first. The team is based out of Boulder, Longmont, and so me living in Denver, I got there pretty quickly. It was a house in Inglewood. Started sitting down and talking to the husband and wife, and some interesting pieces of the story come out. My team leader, Richard, and a couple other of our team members, Catlin, and who's a PhD in religious studies, we show up and we start talking to them. And really what it comes down to is they had been having these footsteps running across the floor from their bedroom to the top of the basement stairs. One really unnerving moment was the wife witnessed an apparition about 4 feet tall standing on her husband's chest while he was sleeping. And at that particular moment, he was having a pronounced episode of difficulty breathing, like sleep apnea. What was unique is that only the wife and the daughter, a 4-year-old daughter, I believe, were the ones really experiencing things. The husband and the son, who I believe was 6 or 7, were not experiencing anything. And, they kind of filed it away. They lived in the house, no problem. Weren't any real problems. The father-in-law, the husband's dad, comes over and starts helping with the kids a little bit and is sleeping downstairs on the downstairs couch and comes up one day. And, of course, no one mentions anything of this to him because she doesn't want to seem like the crazy daughter-in-law. And he comes up the next morning and says, "Do you know your house is haunted?" And she's like, "Oh, thank God, you know too." And just sharing random runnings across the floors and kind of thing like that. And nothing really significant happens. She goes to the next door neighbors, just casually asking them questions like, "Hey, do you know anything about anything that's happened in this house? Anyone that's lived here before?" And they really hadn't talked before that. The neighborhood, you don't talk to your neighbors like you used to, kind of thing. And the neighbor's like, "Yeah, well, other than that 10-year-old kid getting murdered in the basement a couple years ago, nothing really significant has happened at the house." Apparently, and this is an unsubstantiated story, we could not find it in the records of Inglewood. nothing in the news, nothing in criminal justice about this. So completely unsubstantiated, but supposedly, according to the neighbor, young mom, young son, boyfriend kills son in the basement. The 10-year-old, 4-foot tall apparition in the house. So we're all like, ooh, we've got something. This is cool. And that literally, that conversation is what triggered us coming to the house, because like as soon as that came out, she's like, oh God. And then started looking for teams to come help. And it was 19 days later that we were in the house. So we moved pretty quick to get into the house. We're doing our baseline. We're using an EMF meter. We're trying to scan for anything that's abnormal. And the living room wall is also the front walls of both bedrooms. So it's a 2-bedroom upstairs with bath in between, wall, living room, dining room, kitchen above, stairwell downstairs. Really important, husband's spot in the living room is the recliner in the middle of the floor. Wife's spot in the living room is the couch. Daughter's bed is on that same wall. Son's bed is across the room. That wall had an EMF off the charts above 100. We were searching around trying to figure out where it's coming from. And we go downstairs, and the basement's completely finished. It's beautiful. Apparently, the husband is an electrical contractor and did almost all of the work himself. And we're scanning, and we find that the ground wire to the house junction box is coming in contact with the iron gas main. So that electrical field is being generated from the house box, and that gas main that runs along the bottom of the wall, directly above where the father-in-law was sleeping, directly below where the wife sits in the couch, and directly next to where the daughter sleeps, was acting like an antenna for intense EMF. And it was about 100 up to 2.5 feet away from the wall. So very significant. So we're talking to him like, what do you need to do to fix this? And he's like, oh, well, we can cut it and I can just rewire it tomorrow. It's no danger at all. So we do that, and the EMF's gone. And part of us is like, sweet, we helped this family. And part of us was like, crap. If Newton's laws of physics are to be obeyed, we just took away the energy source for whatever this kid was, and now we can't get any evidence. So simultaneously, my favorite and least favorite investigation I've ever done ever, because tangibly, we prevented, hopefully, leukemia in that kid and that wife, and we gave them peace of mind. We have never heard from them again. And then we asked them to report any more activity, and there's been nothing. No news is good news in this case. But we closed the wormhole. There's nothing now to investigate in that house. So from an investigator side point, it really sucks. But from a healthcare professional, it's like best case scenario.
Yay! So, they're gonna have a better quality of life. Fuck! They're gonna have a better quality of life.
Right? Exactly. It's like shit. Could have made a book out of this, but yeah. So there's my first ghost story. We'll go into a little bit more of the science, and hopefully I'll have some props next time. I don't have many. Most of my team are gearheads, so I normally mooch off of their gear because they've got more equipment than they can hold at any given moment. So
out of curiosity, before you go, have you published any papers or anything like that?
So
or your team, for that matter?
My team has. My team leader, and I'll plug him, and I hope he doesn't get mad about me giving away secrets outside of his book. But his name is Richard Estep. He is, I think, currently writing either book number 14 or 15. He is a very well-published author at this point. When we investigated that house, he had not published a single book yet. Most of the books have a haunting theme, so haunted healthcare, haunted hospitals. I've been on TV because of him. I'm in 9 of these books. But he also does historical, Gettysburg and war hero books. He's also done serial killer books. He would actually do very well in this group, but he doesn't have enough time. So He's too busy to join us. But yeah, I think he's got 2 TV shows currently on cable for haunting. The one that I was on was Haunted Case Files. I have not seen any episodes of Haunted Healthcare, so I don't know, or Haunted Healthcare. So I don't know if he's mentioned me, but any investigation we do, even though my mom is not dead or anywhere near dead, he'll always say, "Is this ghost of Stifler's mom here?" So one of my favorite picture of Richard and I is sitting on the son's bed from this story, and I can link that picture here. So
sweet.
All right, Brandon,
awesome.
Close us off.
Yeah, with a little bit of a downer first. Yeah, California's at it again, ruining everyone's fun. California has just put out an executive order, I guess about a week ago now, basically stating that any new vehicles that are to be sold or manufactured in California by 2035 will be zero-emission vehicles. That's not that bad just by itself, because car companies are kind of already moving more that direction anyway. That's a good direction to go. Where it really kind of sucks is all of your off-road vehicles. So anything that's not licensed to drive on the street also has to be zero emission. So your side-by-sides, your ATVs, your dirt bikes.
Not my dirt bikes.
Any new vehicle. So you'll still be able to buy used vehicles that are not. And they don't specifically cite motorcycles in their licensed vehicles as having to be zero emission. So if you get a dual sport, you could have a gas dual sport, but not a just unlicensed off-road vehicle.
So I was listening to something, and they brought up an interesting point regarding this, that potentially they could still sell them if they offset them with carbon credits. So is it the vehicle that, I would love to see the actual wording on this to see if that's possible, or if if Nevada is going to start getting a lot more business for vehicles.
I was going to say, you can still buy them in other states, right? And bring them and use them in California, or no?
Just at a huge tax, potentially.
Probably. So the exact wording of that first order: it is hereby ordered that it shall be a goal of the state that 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks will be zero emission by 2035.
Stating a goal and making it mandatory and against the law are two different things.
I was going to say...
Second point... sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I insist. Ladies first.
Asshole. Well, I'm probably going to add to what I was going to say. It's like, even if they make it an executive order, I'm sure they could push it off. It's probably one of the. It seems like it's one of those not an empty promise, but I don't know. I don't know. Go ahead, Charlie.
So second point is the Cyber Quad is already a thing. When Tesla made their announcement for the Cybertruck, they did roll out a Cyber Quad. Battery technology is rapidly approaching sustainability at that scale. Thinking of scooters, thinking of Segways, all those, making that a high torque dirt bike. Could you imagine the torque that a dirt bike could have?
Instant.
That would be amazing.
You're gonna dig a hole with it.
It would.
Flip it so many times.
It would probably end up being a dual motor. I'm not sure how that works, but they would do it. Second, that was the second point. Third point is worst case scenario. California turns into Havana, and you're going to have some very, very adept mechanics to maintain those vehicles well beyond their projected lifespan, and the parts will be plentiful. If that actually goes forward, I expect the parts for those motorcycles to be higher production and much more sustainable.
Yeah.
Did
No,
we just
I
lose
mean
Brandon?
I'm still here.
All right.
I can hear
He's
you
he's
guys.
just in a constant.
No, he's looking very thoughtful right now.
He's looking very drowsy. Is what he's
Yes.
looking at.
Yeah, sorry about that weirdness. I don't know if it was my network connection or Discord or my computer deciding
Or
that it wanted to be restart.
Just the spookiness of October.
October.
Too much spookiness.
My bad, guys.
Yeah.
My bad.
Your computer got scared. How dare you, Charlie?
It was Mjolnir's fault.
You scared my poor new-ish to me computer.
He's the expert. All right. So we
So,
were discussing.
Yeah. We were discussing California and its interesting regulations regarding the sale of new vehicles in 2035 needing to be zero emission. And it specifically calls out cars and trucks. It doesn't specifically call out motorcycles. It does go on later to specifically call out off-road vehicles. And then by 2045, all medium and heavy-duty vehicles sold in California also need to be zero emission. And Charlie, I think you're right. I think it's going to go one of two ways. One of three ways. Either they're going to push it back as we get closer to it because the technology's not there and it's not financially feasible, or they're going to be hard-headed about it and it's going to either force vehicle manufacturers to kind of adopt earlier, or there's going to be that, Havana subculture of everybody's driving stuff from the 90s because it still works and parts are still plentiful, and that's when stuff was built to last.
And frankly, if it does the second, then it did what it was intended to do, because necessity is the mother of invention, and California is the sixth largest economy in the world. They can kind of throw their weight around in that department.
Very
Oh
true.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see what kind of battery technology is already out there. I was in one of our staff meetings earlier today. We were discussing how because more people are theoretically going to be driving to destinations rather than flying, parking lots could be saturated this winter. And so in the back of my head, I was going, I really don't want to have to walk, all the way from like the free parking lot way away from work. I wonder how much a motorized skateboard with some
one wheel.
No.
Because I was gonna say $1,000.
You get one of those like little scooter things, like the Razor scooter looking things. No, the Razor scooter thing, not an actual scooter.
With a bigger
little
wheel
powered
for that for winter.
He needs like the snowmobile version of those, though.
So there's for $1,200 on Amazon, there's this Easy OA or something like that, and it's. Have you guys ever seen the like mountain boards where they've got like the big chunky wheels on them, and you normally have like a handbrake?
Yeah, but instead it's a remote control for power. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I see you in the ER requiring stitches and a cast.
I believe in you. You know what? I believe in you. I think you will do great.
Radical, bro.
It would not be something I would do this year regardless, although there is a $200 like just kind of longboard skateboard version that has the regenerative braking on it and then power, and it can apparently push you up, a 30% incline on pavement.
Nice.
I think
goes 25 miles an hour, 14 miles.
Push up, your average 25-year-old girl up a 30-degree incline. Yeah. I don't think it would push Sasquatch up the 30-degree incline personally.
So, are you gonna get it?
But what about Chewbacca?
Okay. In fairness, and for our viewers and for our listeners who don't understand, you're what, 6'4"?
6'6".
You're okay.
Jesus.
You're
285.
6'6". Yeah, sorry, dude. It's
Yeah.
not. You're not in the spec sheet.
I mean, he might be able to get like really rigid tires for it. I'm gonna see, like maybe he's
Well,
got
but
like chains.
he's
for
also
it.
not going to be doing it in an incline. Or am I missing something?
No,
You're just going to
the
be doing
base-
it from the
You're
park.
missing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
From
the
the base
parking
of,
lot where I would
Oh, yeah. That's why you
Yeah.
gotta get one of those. They have the damn scooters that have
Or the
nice
one
thick
wheel.
tires.
Just get your steps in, man. Just get your steps in.
Why? No,
I get
something
enough steps
motorized.
in anyway just
Yeah,
No.
through
just
work.
do
That's
motorized.
that's not the
Motorized
right
more
way to
fun.
do it. Yeah.
And
But-
besides, it would be awesome in the summer when there's nobody there to just be like, oh, I got to go fix this that's across the campus. Okay. Zzz.
Yeah, and then there's no one to call 911.
Could go either
that's,
way.
that's why I carry a cell phone and a radio.
But
He's
a
got the
question I
need
have
for
though,
speed.
question I have for you, Brandon, though, is how does this relate to arms in any way?
Arms! So, remember a couple episodes back when we were talking about all of the arm,
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
everybody needed to make sure that they got in their leg day the day before because I was hitting it hard and heavy with the arm day.
God damn it.
Yes.
Here we go again.
So I had mentioned that currently on devices that use an ARM chip, you are not able to run x86 64-bit applications. But you can run native ARM compiled x64 processes, and there's an emulation layer for x86 32-bit. So Microsoft has announced that beginning early November, the 64-bit emulation layer is going to be available through developer preview. So I was looking at selling my Yoga, but now after that, I kind of want to do the developer preview and see if it's the things that I want it to do, that I think it should be able to do, if that fixes it.
So you're gonna send the bug reports through and all that you do with developer stuff? Come on, Brandon. Do it.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
I thought that was the
Yeah.
reason why you didn't keep the Duo.
it is.
Yes,
But
this is
Part of
different.
that
This is-
was
use it.
I already have the Yoga. I am not paying additional monthly
Yeah.
to do
Fair enough.
bug reports on that. I've already paid my dues on that. So, yeah, I'm thinking about keeping it until then, just to try to see what the 64-bit emulation layer does, especially on one of the second gen Qualcomm devices,
Yeah,
because
so
that has the
with the Yoga, I mean, you could get the low down, downward dog on it, I guess.
folded all the different ways.
Yoga, downward dog.
Yep.
Here
Yep.
all night. Thank you. Double face palm. I win. I'm
Sure, I'm glad this-
invincible.
You know he froze right after that.
I hope so.
Who froze right after that?
Boris.
Yeah, Boris Grishiko.
Oh.
I'm invincible.
Yep.
Worth it.
GoldenEye.
Well, hopefully,
So yeah.
that actually sounds interesting. I mean, as I said before, Microsoft has the capital to hopefully push it through. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so they also announced, I wasn't originally going to discuss it, but why the hell not? Surface Pro X, a second iteration. I don't think they're calling it the 2. It's just a refresh. A lot of people were complaining that the original Surface Pro X only came in black, which I thought it was a beautiful looking device in black, but people were clamoring for the Surface Silver. So now it's going to be available in the Surface Silver and the black, and it's going to come with the SQ2 chip. So a slightly upgraded version of the SQ1.
You know, there is something to be said for hotter climates and wanting a color other than black for your items that you're going to be man portable.
Oh, for sure.
Like when
Okay,
I got
yeah,
my
fair enough.
goggles, realizing that I'm going to eventually go to a climate that's akin to the center of the sun.
And you're doing that on your own.
I know.
Nobody's even forcing you to do that.
Yep.
People are in fact trying to talk you out of it.
Craziness.
But yeah, I would say that there's definitely something to be said for electronics that are cooler, therefore don't fry themselves. Like they had the GoPro Hero 7 Black, which was the white edition that I almost got, which, by the way, I got my GoPro 9 in.
That is beautiful.
It's got front screen.
How does got a... Is that a front preview screen on that?
That is most certainly a front preview screen as soon as it boots up. But one of the cool things on it, see, so you can see yourself. Yeah. Anyway, it's way overexposed. But the cool feature on it is the time warp, being able to go time warp and then return to normal speed and then back to time warp again without having to make that multiple clips. But anyway, there's a long tangent I went on. So yeah, surfaces in the white edition. I can see that for more than just like, I want a different color of fridge, type person. That they're legitimately, yeah, if you're carrying it around, I could see that, and it overheat. Or if it does, I mean, these small devices, you are usually battling heat as a major issue. Like the Surface Pro 3, I know this
especially
a long time
the
ago,
unibody devices like that.
but Surface Pro 3 had to throttle itself because of the heating issue. A matter of fact, one of the reasons why I have this is to cool the Surface Pro 3 from itself so it could run at full speed. So,
yep.
Yeah, still use this.
I remember getting one of those at the same time.
I also bought one, I think, at the same time. That was a good day when we all bought fans together for our computers.
Of course, it's
Surface
hard to
devices.
manipulate as it's on and in the USB port because you're like, But
so lame.
Okay, I'm going to shame myself a little bit. Do you guys remember when I had the iMac or the Mac single panel, and I literally had ice packs that I would cycle through, putting them on top to cool the whole damn thing up, so I would be able to continue to play at the same speed as everybody else.
Oh yeah, the metal frame.
Yeah, I was dumb. I was dumb.
See, that's the scariest thing I've ever heard, is the fact that you had an iMac. It's perfect for October.
I had a Mac, yeah.
I mean,
Poor
look at his
soul.
phone.
Yeah, true.
Now, stop.
And his watch.
Anyways, I had Mac devices, but I still ran a partition with Windows and ran Windows as my predominant.
It's okay. We all learn.
We make mistakes.
It's part of the.
We accept you for who you are.
I would say
it's okay.
This train has gone fully off the tracks. Brandon, don't you think?
I think we've gone far enough.
I think so. All right. All right. Thanks for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you... Oh, hey, social. Let's do social first.
We have a script, damn it!
No.
Good God.
Yeah, I said I was improving this.
Yeah.
All right,
I
pluggables,
So-
Brandon. Pluggables first.
Pluggables. Okay, pluggables. Colton, take us away. Pluggable. Pluggable yourself.
I shall
Go pluggable yourself.
Go plug yourself.
I'll plug the fuck out of this. Anyways, my name is Colton Roper. I am a contributor to thetechpirate.net. I did actually finish a review of my first prop. Power Locus P1 over-ear Bluetooth headphones, Amazon choice. So check that out. I am also on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube with the gaming handle Seeker4761.
That's how many.
Interesting note.
We both had one.
No, it's fine. You take it this time.
Go ahead, Brandon. What's yours?
4761 is actually the number of milliseconds Charlie would last in that soundproof room.
Milliseconds?
Ooh, milliseconds.
Milliseconds.
Yeah, less than 1 millisecond. Yeah, I agree.
The dude that
I don't know. That'd be 4 point.
4.5 seconds. Yeah.
The dude that hunts for
4.761
ghosts
seconds.
wouldn't survive in the sensory deprivation.
The soundproof room.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, I'm good with quiet places, but not the quiet place.
Fair enough. Cody, well done. Cody, where can we find you on the
What was yours?
We'll see later. Yeah, I forgot it actually because of that.
Oh.
No, that was pretty good. That's
Thank you.
Applaud
Thank you. I
Well
am Charlie
played.
Stifler. My gamer tag is Mjolnir, MIJOLNOIR. You can find me on YouTube. I promise to start posting soon. And Twitch, I promise to start streaming on the regular. I hope to get this group streaming together for the purposes of playing Among Us or Sea of Thieves or any one of the other hundreds of games we all own together. Brandon, take us away.
Cody never got to go.
Well,
You jumped in front of Cody.
He gave up.
No, I gave up on the numbering, not the plugging.
He gave up.
I mean, I guess it's a point. Yeah, I haven't put in anything on my channel, so you know what? I don't matter. It's fine. It's fine. I'm here to be the edit.
You can find him at Striving to Fail, and right now he is succeeding at failing.
Hey, actually, I am working on a project. I'm working on several cool projects that will be up on that. One is kind of a year-long project, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's just say those time lapses that I do from, well, I'll start at Cooper Landing, so it's interesting, to Anchorage. And I take one every other time I drive there. Think of how cool it would be to drive there through all of the seasons.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm also
That will be a cool project.
I'm working on a project that is very, very in the name Strive to Fail, which is the drone. How I have progressed in piloting, but I need more of a variance of where I started from and where I am too. There's going to be beautiful crash compilations. It's gonna be stellar. It's gonna be awesome. Anyway, you can also find me on Twitch at Psychonitrous. Just guess how to spell that. It'll be fun.
Phonetic. It's common spelling.
Thank you.
Brandon, where can we find you on the internet?
I am Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. You can find me at thetechpirate.net. You can find me on YouTube as The Tech Pirate. And you can find me on Twitch as The Tech Pirate, or TTP_net if you're trying to at me.
Don't at me, bro.
Don't at me, brah. Brah. Yeah. So I think that's everything. This was a off the rails episode. I will do better next time. Sorry.
Don't apologize for that.
You can't edit audio, as some podcasters have said. That's probably the funniest thing I've ever heard. Can't edit audio, bro. It's there forever. No point to apologize.
Once
Power
it's out
through
there,
it.
it's gone. Well, thank you all for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For your social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at ThisTwil. If you'd like to contact us, you can always send us an email to twil@thetechpirate.net. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you all next time.
Take care. Hell yeah. That is a good exit, bros.
Oh, wow.
Doing the bird lane.
Oh,
Doing the bird lane.
We're white.
Caw-caw.
we're cool. We're cool.